Happy Halloween, you guys, and welcome back to the last day of the 10 days of Halloween with I myself, the original Renegade. Now, for those of you who maybe haven't seen any of the previous days, I don't know why you would have clicked on this, but maybe you haven't. So if you haven't, then do go back and look at the previous days, because I give you a more in-depth explanation of why I'm doing this challenge and what it's all about and what have you. So just to reiterate very, very quickly, because I know those of you who have been with us since day one, thank you very much, are going to get really sick and tired of me saying this, but it is the 10 Days of Halloween challenge. It was a challenge that was originally set out by one of my favourite actors of all time, Mr. Thomas Dekker. So if you don't know who that is and you're a little bit interested, you can always go and Google him. If not, doesn't really matter. I am going to be linking all of his videos down below so that you can check them out. But we are back again, like I say, day number 10 of the 10 Days of Halloween challenge. And we're kicking off with the 3 categories that I've been doing all week, which is your beat off movie, your show off movie and your laugh off movie. Again, for more in-depth things on this, go back to previous days, but I'm going to try and crack on quickly so this doesn't take too long. I've got my trusty pad as always, so let's get into it, shall we? Because today's Halloween, I've got a lot of stuff to do. I've got like cookies to bake and pumpkins to carve and stuff, so we need to get into this right now. So for the day 10 of the 10 Days of Halloween challenge, we're starting with my beat-off movie. Now, my beat-off movie for today is the 1982 classic Carrie by Stephen King. Now, I absolutely love this movie. If you don't know what Carrie is, I have no idea why you wouldn't. There's been so many references in popular culture about it and everything like that. But basically, it's about this shy, introverted girl. You know, she's really awkward. She's been raised by her devout Christian mother, who, you know, doesn't believe in anything like sex or anything like that. Even though she's had a child, it's very, very strange, but she is a devout Christian. And it's basically this thing where she gets bullied at school, but it turns out she's got telekinetic powers, which for those of you who don't know, it means that you can move things with your mind and make things happen with your mind, everything like that. So basically she gets bullied by a lot of teenage girls, because to be honest, in my opinion, there is nothing quite so evil as teenage girls. No offence if you are, but we've all been there. We've all been through it in our lives, haven't we? Not so much me, because I must admit, I didn't get bullied at school. I wasn't a bully either, but I didn't get bullied at school because I used to smack people. I don't condone that for those of you watching who are young, but I wasn't someone who used to get put upon by people. Let's put it that way. But people have always had this happen. So she gets bullied by a load of people in school. They want to play a prank on her, you know, so she gets invited to the prom with this guy and it's a big deal and, you know, things happen, basically. Now, hopefully you've seen this movie and you'll know, obviously, what goes on and everything like that. If you don't, I don't really want to give it away for you, but like I say, I mean, it's an old movie, so everybody hopefully knows what's gone on and all that lot. So, I absolutely love this movie. I think it's so classic. It's a great lesson in how to treat other people, and it's a great lesson in terms of, like, if you treat someone poorly and it turns out that they can get the upper hand on you, then it can come back on you. Like, always be aware of how you treat people. So, I love it. I think it's a classic 80s movie. You know, it's got John Travolta in it as well. As well as a lot of other really, really good cast members. It was remade again, I think around 2012, maybe 2013, something like that. But I always like the original. I think the girl who plays Carrie in the original is just, she pulls it off so well. Like, she really is sort of shy and retiring and very introverted, and she just carries it off really well, and you feel so sorry for her, but at the same time there's like that double-edged thing of when she does get her revenge, you're kind of on her side, even though she goes a little bit like psychotic. You are kind of on her side. There are other sideline characters that I feel perhaps didn't deserve what happened to them, but for most of the bullies, they kind of deserved it. And to be honest, I was like all on board. So I do absolutely love Carrie. Again, it's not something that's super freaky. It's more on the supernatural spectrum, I would say, of the movies, but I just really like it. I love it. I think it's got a great takeaway message. I love most of the stuff that Stephen King does, to be fair, anyway. I think his writing style is amazing. So I would definitely recommend that one for your beat-off movie, because again, I can just shove it on at any point in the day or night and sort of chill to it. So that's my beat-off movie. Now my show-off movie, a lot of people haven't heard of, and I love it. It's the 2003 film Darkness Falls. Now, the movie is set in Maine, where the residents of Darkness Fall are aware of this legend, like this legend that they've always been aware of, and it's about a woman called Matilda Dixon. She was killed by a mob in the 1800s because they thought that she was killing children, essentially. I'm pretty sure she was a dentist. I'm pretty sure from my memory. I haven't seen it in a while, but I'm pretty sure she was a dentist, but they thought she was killing kids. There was this whole big snafu. You know, and of course the legend always turns out not really to be legend, right? Like, it's that thing of, oh, you know, this is what Jimmy said happened 50 years ago, and everyone goes, ha 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 ha, isn't that a funny, scary story? But really, it's real. It's 100% real. And it goes down. So, basically, a group of friends come back to town who, you know, in their teens kind of went through something similar to the legend and what have you, and they've come back to town, basically just to deal with Matilda's supernatural wrath, essentially. That's what it is, because she's like one angry mean ghost, like that. She was nicknamed the Tooth Fairy, which is because obviously she was a dentist and what have you. It's just very creepy. There's this whole thing where she can't appear in light, but she has the supernatural ability to snuff out light. So of course, how do you fight something in the dark that you can't see when you don't have a light? And they end up carrying loads of torches with them, and like, it's a very, very freaky, very atmospheric film. It's my mum's worst nightmare. She hates it. I made her watch it because I'm cruel. I made her watch it about 2004. I think something, it was right after it was released, and I made her watch it. Still to this day, she will not go anywhere without the lights on. If we have a power cut in the house, she freaks out, she hates it, and it's my fault essentially, and I feel really terrible actually about it. She started carrying a torch with her in the mornings when she leaves our house to walk to her car. When she goes to work and it's dark, she has to carry a torch with her, because I freaked her out, essentially, making her watch this. She hates it. She only knows it in her mind as the Tooth Fairy. She doesn't know it as Darkness Falls. But she hates it. She's so scared of this movie, guys. That's why you need to watch it, because it is freaky as all hell. Like, it really is. You should show your friends, because honestly, people will not walk around in the dark again. Never. That is what this film's done. It has traumatised her, essentially. I shouldn't laugh, it's awful, but honestly it is one of my favourite movies. And if you've got a friend who's afraid of the dark anyway, it's just up there. So I do recommend that you do try and get your friends to watch this. It is a perfect show-off movie for me. Absolutely love it. So that is the show-off movie. Now, to crack on, my laugh-off movie. It's gonna be a very weird one, this. A lot of people won't class it as a laugh-off movie, but I guess I'm just not really scared of a lot of things, maybe that's what it is. But it is the 2001 remake of 13 Ghosts. Now, obviously, 13 Ghosts is a state-of-the-art remake of the classic William Castle horror. For those of you who might not know, he did it in the, I believe it was either the back end of the 70s or the beginning of the 80s. I can't entirely remember, if I'm honest. But you know the story. A family inherits a house from a dead eccentric relative who's, you know, left it to them and what have you. And it's a case of, oh, here's this new house and you can go and have this house and yay. But of course, the house has a dark agenda of its own. I mean, let's face it, it wouldn't be much of a horror movie without, would it? So the house is kind of intelligent in a very weird way, and it's a crazy movie, and it has obviously 13 ghosts that are in this house, and they're all locked up, and the house is like a mechanical organism that can unlock certain ghosts for certain things. It's a really well thought out, really well executed, like, theme, essentially. Like, on the horror movie spectrum, it's pretty good. It's what when it was, like, when Cabin in the Woods was first released, it's kind of similar in that sense, like, to me personally. But I do love 13 Ghosts. It does have Matthew Lillard in it, who, if you don't know, he was also in Scream and Scooby-Doo, the live action remakes of Shaggy, because who can't forget that, right? So it's just very good. It's got a lot of, like, sort of supernatural elements, obviously, because it's ghosts. It's got a lot of, like, good things in it, but at the same time it's pretty hammy and pretty, like, wooden in places, and there's just moments when you're like, oh, really? But the ghosts do look pretty funny. There's one with a box on its head. That's all I'm gonna say. They're funny, but they're also freaky, and that's what I kind of like. To me, I laugh about it. It's meant to be on the, like, black magic kind of end of stuff, like, you know, the occult and, like, all the bad sort of juju vibes and what have you. I personally laugh at it. But it is a very, very good movie. Like I say, it's not a cutesy Halloween movie. You can't really show it to your kids. I really wouldn't advise that, because they probably won't sleep. Maybe don't show it to kids, but it is my laugh-off movie, because I just think it's funny. Really. 100%. But I do really, really recommend it for you guys. Of course, the originals are always better, but the original's even more hammy, because this is, like I say, a state-of-the-art, like, modern, like, remake. It's very rare that I do love a good remake, but I do really, really like this remake myself, personally. So that is it. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I feel like this is a really, really, really long, like, video. But it is All Hallows Eve, so, I mean, come on now. We've got to, like, have a little bit of a chit-chat, right? So, hopefully you enjoyed this crazy 10-day journey with me, guys, because it's the first time I've ever done anything like this, and I'm actually quite proud of myself that I managed to, like, film it, edit it, and upload it for each single day, because that's usually not my, like, wheelhouse, to be honest. But I hope you did enjoy this series. Obviously, if you did, please go ahead and give it a big thumbs up for me. It does really help me make more videos for you guys. Also, if you haven't already but you feel like you would like to, then do go ahead and click that big red subscribe button up there in the corner for me. Makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. And until next time, my little freaks and squeaks, have a marvellous and creepy Halloween, and I will check you later on the other side.